Welcome to Chronic Combat Conversations, Guru's Gut Reaction with your host, the Guru. We're here taking a look at UFC Vegas 103, Manel Kape versus Asu Almabayev. And let me say, from an entertainment standpoint, this was a pretty entertaining card, no? I certainly enjoyed what we got from an entertainment standpoint, right? Evening, Rob. Good to see you. Good to see you, bud. Thank you so much for being here to the first ever Guru's Gut Reaction. Oh, and who is this guy? Keys to the channel. Who gave me keys to this office here? Doesn't look like my house. So honestly, where do we start? I guess we'll start from the bottom. I want to start from the bottom. We'll start with the first fight of the night with Charles Johnson and Ramazan Temirov. And I got to say, for us in the way that we capped the fight, I feel like it kind of went exactly like we capped. It was just that Charles Johnson really didn't get going early enough into round two. And when he started to finally gain a little bit of momentum, it seemed like Temirov maybe hit him back with a big punch. So I just was a little disappointing from Charles. I'm not sure that he can climb the hill at this stage in his career, right? He's in his late 30s. Young man's division. Yeah, I mean, I just don't know what he expected. You know, you can't win a fight landing 15 significant strikes in round one and 14 in round two. And of course, tale as old as time, he goes 37 of 78 in round three. Yeah, man, you really should leave a little bit more out there. But a little disappointing. We lost some big units on that, but we found a way to battle through the night. Antoine, what's up, man? How do I rate this card? I mean, it's an Apex card, so it like automatically gets knocked down like 3. I mean, can an Apex card really be better than a 7? So I don't know. I give it like a 5.5, 6. The co-main event was hilarious, which I'll get to. But yeah, you'd really think that Temirov has a very high ceiling. His cardio is definitely a concern, but his power and grittiness is pretty solid. And Charles Johnson, it's just his issues remain the same. We'll move on to the next fight here. JJ Aldridge versus Andrea Lee. And if you guys didn't watch this fight, more power to you. I actually probably would have been better off not watching this fight. JJ Aldridge just kind of outclasses her for 3 rounds. It's a pretty classic 30-27 in my mind. Maybe round 3 was a little close there with the guillotine. But I don't know. Yeah, Ron McCarthy gives it to her. That should probably tell you everything you need to know. Andrea Lee at this stage is washed, right? She's done. She's lost, I think it's either 5 or now 6 in a row. That's it. She won't be back. She's terrible. She can't take a shot. Her accuracy is horrible. She's landing strikes from way out of range. She's terrible. And JJ Aldridge is not flashy, not attractive, but is a serviceable fighter in a decent camp. So can probably scrape by, but I understand not wanting to lay chalk on her. You can't. Certainly can't. We'll move right along. Danny Silva, Lucas Almeida, the early fight of the night, right? I mean, that fight was really spectacular. Danny Silva continued to march forward. I don't really understand the split decision. I think it was Anthony Manus with the dissenting card here. Didn't make any sense. I thought Danny Silva won rounds. I'm trying to remember. I was drinking a little bit. Which one was it? He ran 1 and 2. 1 and 2. That's what I was going to say. He ran 1 and 2. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. He ran 1 and 2 very handedly. And round 3 was where he had kind of slowed down and shelled up a bit. And Lucas Almeida, the bigger guy, kind of continued to march forward. First time Lucas Almeida, right, has not I guess he actually been to decision before and lost, but just not as often. Yeah, Danny Silva is a pretty interesting guy. He's tough and he's scrappy, but he doesn't finish his food. So something to look forward to or look at next time when he fights. But Lucas Almeida, fairly one-dimensional. Nothing really impressive there. could be interesting to see who they give Danny Silva next. Do they try to rebook that Dennis Bazookia fight? Do you try to move him up a bit? Do you use him as cannon fodder? What exactly do you do with the Danny Silva? I'm not used to talking all by myself. This is interesting. I like it. Next fight, Chepe Mariscal taking on Ricardo Ramos. Chepe kicked his ass, man. I mean, it really wasn't close at all. Everybody gets it right. It's a clear 30-27. He just outdogs him. Ramos is completely outgunned in the fight. Chepe continues to march forward and just beat the piss out of him. The pace was way too much for Ramos. Ramos wants a clean fight from distance, and Chepe is just, he's just that dog. So he continues to march forward and work on him. He kind of gets tired there. I mean, which is, again, understandable. Dude lands 42 of 67 strikes, significant strikes in round 2. Not for lack of trying to get him out of there, but I guess he kind of says post-fight that with his game, with his coach now, they're like kind of working on keeping him more in line instead of going rabies mode. So good on Chepe for working on his well-rounded game. Sure he'll be a dad before the next time he steps into the octagon, and I'll like his chances in that fight as well, most likely. We'll move right along to one of the sketchiest fights of the night. Mario Pinto and Austin Lane. Did Austin Lane not give you a run for your money if you had laid minus 500 on him? Oh, Useless Peasant, thanks so much for being here, dude. Really appreciate that. Chepe was the anchor this week for the parlays. Great read this week from you guys. Yeah, shout out Clint, who had him as his big anchor. And yeah, Chepe was safe. I actually believe when I had read online properly that the books needed Chepe this week, that more of the money had come in on Ricardo Ramos. So yeah, Chepe, a good parlay piece. It's very, very safe, right? Really didn't look at much damage at all. Maybe got landed on once with the spinning elbow, but he survived it just fine. So guys, seriously, thanks so much for being here. It would mean a lot to me if you would like the video, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, and give a comment. Please comment on this video. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know what you think of the fights this week, and maybe let me know what you think of the fights next week, because the goal I'm thinking is Guru's Gut Reactions every Sunday, Saturday, Sunday. What do you guys think? I kind of like it. Yeah, man, Chepe was sweat-free, exactly. Pinto, on the other hand, right? We're going to get right into left-hand Tagon Real Fight picks. Thanks so much for being here, dude. But, yeah, Chepe was sweat-free, unlike this next fight, Austin Lane versus Mario Pinto. I mean, by God, Austin Lane gives it everything you want in a plus 400 dog. He lands 32 strikes to Mario Pinto's 13. He rocks him, drops him. He's chasing him down. He damn near kills him. Hilarious refereeing by Mark Smith. Yeah, hilarious. It's Mark Smith. I mean, again, if it's Mark Smith or Jason Herzog, the fight was definitely going to keep going. But just hilarious. So Austin Lane absolutely schmammies this guy. Pinto's an absolute fade moving forward. It's just going to be matchup specific. You know, if they want this guy to win fights, they're going to give him winnable fights. But I could very much see them either getting rid of him, or it doesn't even matter. Like, this guy could just he could just fail. I mean, if you're getting bonked by Austin Lane, it's really not a good sign. I mean, I understand the relative calmness to his game. He's young, so it'll be interesting to see how much better he gets. But I'm just not impressed with Pinto. Yeah, he was a little undersized in this fight, but Lane's huge. Lane's absolutely huge, even for heavyweight. He's like 6'7". He's I think he might be the biggest heavyweight on the roster. So yeah, don't love Mario Pinto Bean. Very, very disappointing. I really hope they give him somebody we can fade him against, because that would be fucking awesome. Austin Lane, that's probably it for him. I'd imagine he's going to be on roster watch on Tuesday. And I think that wraps up the undercard. So certainly an interesting undercard there. And guys, seriously, once again, if you haven't, please like, subscribe, share the channel. And I'm going to look to try to do this every Saturday, Sunday, especially after the pay-per-views. I don't even care. I'm wired at 1 a.m. My girl's sleeping. So it's like, fuck it, I'll go live. If you guys are into it, I'm into it. It came out weird. Seriously, thanks so much for being here, guys. All right, we're going to move right along. Unbelievable fight. This was fucking crazy. Danny, left hand to God, Barlow taking on Sam Patterson. And just like everybody thought, the striking prowess of Sam Patterson comes through and he earns the knockout. Oh, wait, what? No, nobody thought that. It was supposed to be a submission and Danny Barlow was supposed to get the knockout, but he looked terrible and tentative. And then he got absolutely knocked out, disrespecting the power and throwing himself out of position. Is that what happened? Does Sam Patterson actually look like a legit fucking, like somebody to be a force to be reckoned with here at the welterweight level? I mean, dangerous. Very, very dangerous. I appreciate that, Rem Dog. Better than the post-fight presser. I mean, I love hearing what Dana White has to say, but hey, you guys come hang out with me instead. Can always check back on Dana White's 5 minutes afterwards. This is way better. I'm about analyzing our bets too, and trying to make some money, figure out where we went wrong. In this fight, we had kind of thought about parlaying Barlow early, and we came off of it a little bit spooked out. Just because Barlow had shown some problems with the grappling on the regional circuit. So we were, again, just a little worried. I had pushed TB in the fact that I'm like, hey, Patterson's durability is going to be much better with this extra 15 pounds. Like, it's the best weight class to be moving up in because you don't get 10 pounds, you get 15. There's no way it doesn't affect durability. So in this fight, I mean, Sam Patterson wasn't afraid of Danny Barlow, lands more strikes, and Danny Barlow, with his unorthodox style and terrible camp, throws himself out of position, gets knocked out. Bad. Gets knocked out bad. Clean. No problem with the stoppage. Patterson deserves $50K, so I hope they give it to him. Yeah, really, really impressive for Patterson. I was kind of shitting on him, thinking, like, why wouldn't he be on UFC London in 2 weeks if he's all that in a bag of chips? But maybe they'll like, prove it, kid. And he sure as hell did. He took all the hype from Danny Barlow, and honestly, he takes the fandom too. Who raise your hand if you weren't a fan of Danny Barlow before this? I mean, I think we all were. I don't care anymore. Not even a little bit. I'm all on the Sam Patterson train now. Doesn't mean I'm going to get overzealous with him next fight, but you have to respect his striking. It's obvious at this point. Next fight. What a dog fight. From one guy. Really a dog versus a cat, if you know what I mean. Very stinky, if you're following me. Meow. Go me. Terrible. Terrible fight from him. Terrible game plan. The cage works against him, but he really didn't use any of the intangibles that we thought he would. The length and the speed. He just kind of wore down. And at the end of the day, the weasel is not the type of fighter you want to bet on. You want to bet on the dog. How many times have we had to learn that? So Hyder Emil at plus 170, I don't care split decision or not, he's the right side in this fight because you knew if you're the go me truther, you love go me, you knew that he was going to win by decision. Which, again, we made a mistake. We bet go me by decision. We're thinking Occam's razor, right? Simplest explanation. But it wasn't. He's not good enough. And to win a decision, you also have to do what, guys? Land damage. He doesn't. He doesn't land damage. He doesn't land hard enough. Gomi fought Emil's fight better. Better showing than I thought from Gomi, to be honest. Well, that's interesting. I mean, I just felt that, again, Gomi wants it to be safe, pitter-patter from the outside, stick and move. And Hyder Emil just kept walking him down. And by round 3, I mean, the power coming back from Emil adds up. And I really thought, especially the age really stood out to me. I thought with the age that Hyder Emil wouldn't be able to keep that pace, but the pace was no match. Pace is one of the biggest stats that you have to look at, other than, again, sometimes the intangibles of size. it's pace. The other one that there is no stat for, which is always important, is speed. And I felt that the speed of Gomi really slowed down, especially in the striking. And Emil is just a dog. He's just who you want your money on. So shout out to anybody with an Emil ticket. Hey, an Emil ticket's going to get you a meal ticket, if you know what I'm saying. I'll stick to my day job. Moving on to the next one. We've got Nazareth Hakparast taking on Esteban Ribovics. Shout out to Just Win Baby. Had Esteban as his mush of the week. I told him as soon as he announced it, I had already agreed. I was like, yep, for sure. What I saw on the tape from Esteban and Nazareth was exactly what it was supposed to be. And I love that. When you get a good enough sample size from people, you really can predict much better how they're going to perform. Nazareth was the much more efficient, clean striker. He's the much more technical boxer, right? That's all over the tape. You don't think that? You got to go watch again. He just is. Esteban has no defense at all. And Nazareth does. Sure, he got a little tired, but he also landed 135 strikes. So very close fight, but this is how we handicapped it, right? This was the truth of the handicap. You ready? In a fight, a striking fight that's going to be close, possibly even split decision, right? Bookies said like minus 300 goes the distance. How can you justify a minus 200 favorite or north of? You can't. You don't expect him to get a finish, and there's nothing that shows that he's going to outwork him. And that's exactly what happened. It's a really, really close fight. And if it's a coin flip, you need to have a plus 200 ticket. You have to. So that's the mistake in the Emil fight. And it's also the mistake in the Esteban fight, if you're on Esteban and if you're on Gomi. But we split the baby there. We got Hakparast and we did not, and we had Gomi. So we'll take our money with Hakparast. And hey, not to toot my own horn, but shout out me on Hakparast, and I also hit Hakparast by decision at plus 460, right? Because once again, right, if it's going there, that's the guy's win condition. I thought so from the beginning. How do you not take a over 4-1 ticket on that? You have to. So I felt like it's deserved. Moving on to the co-main event, which me included, the shitter-overs on this co-main event. Right? It's obvious why. It's not about level. It's about entertainment value. Remdog saying, only throwing head strikes an opponent is shelling up high guard is low IQ. Yeah, absolutely. Esteban's he's just like a meathead. He just wants to smash. And he's going for the head. And you're right. The body's right there. And the corner in round 3 tells him, hey, hit the body too. But he's a showman. It's just not in his, it's just not his thing. Very happy with my Nazareth bet there. I'm really happy to do the tape, have a read, stick to my guns. Line doesn't really budge, but I don't budge either, and we get the win. That's what it's all about. It's all about the process. The results oftentimes will not work out, right? The judges aren't watching, an eye poke, bullshit. It just happens. But it's all about the process. I feel good about the process. Once again, feeling good about the process in our co-main event, which we made fun of it, right? Why is it the co-main event? But it's the co-main event from Entertainment Factor. It was incredible. One of the most ridiculous, insane, hilarious fights you could ever watch. A double mouth guard flop out with a ridiculous step in by Mark Smith. And Cody puts him down in round 1 because of course he does. Because he always gets the finish in round 1. And Julian is cooked. Like, you don't just get knocked out that badly and still have it. It's just not possible. And Cody's much younger. So I love my shot on Cody. Same thing. And I would do it 100 times over. And it doesn't even mean that he'd come out 100 times the winner. But we got plus 138 on him, guys. Plus 138. Once again, dog money, plus money on a coin flip. Something 50-50 that we're getting north of 50-50 odds on. You have to take that every time, and twice on, the expression's twice on Sunday, but let's say twice on Saturday, right? You have to. That's where the money's made. Market inefficiencies. So really happy to get the win on Cody Brundage there. Really happy for Cody Brundage to get the win. Deserves $50K himself. Impressive performance. I think they right. I think he had said that this is the last fight on his deal. I think they re-sign him. He's perfect. He's great cannon fodder. You know exactly what you get from him. So I think they re-sign him. And Julian Marquez probably retires, but he will not fight in the UFC again. I promise you that. So Julian Marquez truthers, I get it, but I don't really get it at all, to be quite honest with you. I was never for the once on Julian Marquez. It's dog or pass for a reason, right? Dog or pass. Main event. We made it. Main event. Awesome fight. Asu, to me, is impressive. He's a solid fighter. But guys, right? Did he not look completely outmatched in this fight? I don't think he had anything for him. He couldn't get the takedowns going, which, shout out, again, me, not to toot my own horn, but on the tape, said it, and it was all there. He can't get the takedowns versus Nicolau. How's he going to get him here? He's not. Certainly not on short notice. This was a chance for Manel Kopp to show out. They kept the fight together. Meaning his fight, him fighting for a reason. He looked in phenomenal shape. He didn't miss weight. I mean, he's got to be next up. He's got heat with both of these guys. He's got heat with Pantoja for the rematch. And he's got all that outside the cage shit with Kai Kara France. So I really would think that he's up next. And I think he deserves it. Asu Amabayev, yeah, maybe book him versus Brandon Royval or something interesting. He's a really good fighter, but obviously his striking is quite limited, and his wrestling is honestly not good enough. He doesn't chain takedown attempts together, so when he misses the first one, he has to reset, and that's not ideal. You want somebody who's going to keep digging in, go back chain from single to double to single to double. He doesn't really do that. So he's got to figure his shit out, but I think to me it was fairly obvious that Manel Kopp was going to stunt here. We had a really poor night that we fought back from really, really hard. So I'm proud of us for that, but a lot of more work to be done. But that's all you can do, right? You can't win them all. You can't expect to have a winning night every night. But you can look at your process and figure out what it is that you want to fix. So I think we do have a few things that we want to work on. But all in all, a decent night at the office, especially with live betting, even after a tough card where I think we were down on BetMMA, but maybe only a unit. But I think at a time we were down like 6 or more. So we really fought back. You know what? I was going to go for 30 minutes. I got 6 left. So I'll just quickly run through the new card coming up. UFC 313. Pereira versus Ankalaev in Las Vegas. Everything's in fucking Vegas, right? I like Alex Pereira. He's the boy. Should really get it done, I would imagine, right? Should be able to kick those calves and stuff a couple takedowns, perhaps. Gaethje Fiziev. I mean, my gut reaction was Gaethje, but he kind of mentions the R word when he's like, oh, if I get knocked out again. And Fiziev is much younger. And even though he's coming back from ACL surgery, and we've seen time and time again, these showcase fighters in big fights coming back after big injuries, they tend to lose that fight and then win the next one. It's a similar layoff type spot for Gaethje after truly, I think, what could be a devastating career-changing type KO. Jalen Turner, Ignacio Bahamondes, really crazy fight. I feel like Jalen Turner is like the one that you want to bet, but Ignacio might just sneak up on him and do it. Because Jalen Turner needs a finish, and can you finish Ignacio? He's tough as shit. Lemos Lucindo, we missed plus money on Lucindo. Pissed me the fuck off. Really, really upsetting. But can still get near even money, and I think she's going to smash. Like, I just don't think Lemos can deal with the grappling. Bobby King Green, Hoofy. Hoofy's like minus 600, so I'm not loving that. But Bobby Green, again, getting subbed by Patty in his last fight. It's obvious what they're doing with him. He's probably done. Useless Peasant giving a heart to Leal. Yeah, everybody loves Leal. We bet on him last fight. He gets robbed, but now he's a minus 600 favorite versus Morono. Pereira KO plus 165. That's an interesting thought. He probably does it by KO if he does it. I'll be fading Van. I wouldn't personally. We'll talk about that in a sec. Blades Kuniev. Kuniev, the Dana White Contender Series twice, suspended for steroids, fighting Curtis Blades. I think they're just giving Curtis Blades a fairly easy win after being a company guy for a while. Josh Van Ray Saruya. I think Ray Saruya's takedown offense is not as good as advertised. What was that last fight he had? He fought, Carlos Hernandez, who's solid, but he struggled to get some takedowns at times. What did he go? He went, where is it? I just lost it. He went 3 of 8 versus Carlos Hernandez. I think Josh Van's takedown defense is better. I think he hits harder than Carlos Hernandez. So, I mean, Ray Saruya is a dog. I get it, maybe, but I don't know. Josh Van minus 170 is fair to me. So, I like Van here. Bruno Ferreira, Armin Petrosian. Plus money for Ferreira versus Petrosian, who just got knocked out and subbed in his last 2 fights. We know that Ferreira doesn't have a problem being the smaller guy, so I kind of lean his way. Leal minus 600 versus Morono. Hilarious. Just have to pass. Marion Santos, Francis Marshall. Should be really good. I think Marion Santos is a fucking beast. Really exciting. And Marshall's exciting, but like he doesn't really have great defense, and I think Marion Santos can probably expose that. And Jordan Santos versus Ozzy Diaz. I gotta want to look in that a little bit more. I think I bet Jordan Santos in his last fight, and I know I faded Ozzy Diaz in his last fight versus Zhang. And I'd imagine Santos will win because Ozzy Diaz smells. But more tape to be done. Not exactly the best card for a pay-per-view, but some exciting matchups, so I'm looking forward to it. Guys, seriously, thanks so much for hanging out for Guru's Gut Reactions. Let me know if you liked it. Say something in the chat. Leave a comment. Like it, please. Go back, rewatch the our last breakdown if you want. See how we did on our breakdowns in general. And, hey, stay tuned. Maybe TB's got a podcast he might be doing as well, trying to get you guys some more content, especially if we can just kind of bang out 30-minute clips like this. So seriously, thanks so much for being here. And we'll be back this upcoming week for UFC 313 with Sean Orr. Really, really sharp gambler and a really nice guy. So guys, take care and be safe out there. Let's make some money. I'm going to end it now.